Hey everybody, welcome to Cherry Wayne. My name is Mary. I like to make and do a little bit of everything, especially in the craft and art world. And today I have just a tiny bit of a few things to show you. I have some knitting, some sewing, and one crochet piece to show you. Using this project bag that I made myself. I started with this quilt block and some scrap fabrics. I have some pea pod fabric inside. I did some embroidery details. And then I stitched Grateful on the back here. So that's my little project bag. The project that I have here is Hoodola. It is a knit hood. It has a long ribbed section for the neck and an encasement around it where you can pull the strings through. And so you fold the ribbing up inside so it can cover your face, and then the hood covers you as well. This is for a order. They didn't specifically request this pattern, but they asked me to make them a hood with some sort of water theme. I've made other hats and things for them in the past, so I've done an earth toned one, a fire. Now I'm going to do a water one for them. And I really am trying to reach out into a lot of different types of knitting than what I used to do, because I want to get into garment knitting for myself. And so the different things that I'm learning in each of these knitting patterns that I've done recently is just really helpful to build my skill set, so that when I'm ready to do sweaters and cardigans and socks and all that, I will feel really confident in what I'm knitting. So the only other stipulations that they had for this was to use natural fibers, and I live in the US, and where I live personally, it is really hard to find natural fibers, period, let alone ones that are affordable. If I'm making something for an order, the quality really matters, but I also have to work within their budget as well. So, if someone wanted me to buy yarn that was $30 a hank or something and use that yarn, I gladly would. But at the same time, I just have to be considerate of what they want and what's within their budget and that I can work with. I also am trying to switch over to using as much natural fibers as I can and not use acrylic yarn anymore. I will still use it, I just will not use it anywhere nearly as much. For a lot of reasons, but I went way off into left field earlier, trying to stick to a certain subject matter here. So anyways, I found Linda Hobby. They're out of Denmark, and they have extremely affordable options, and they have a lot of good fiber selections and weights. This pattern mostly calls for a DK weight yarn, and I say mostly because you can knit this in any size. You can do child size all the way up to adult. You can do any weight you want, give or take. I think the pattern tells you how to do it in 3 or 4 different weights, so mostly every weight. But the pattern came with a couple of tutorials which were really appreciated, and they used DK weight for theirs, and I wanted to get that same gauge. And I also knew I'd be doing duplicate stitch, which would add some more layer and depth to it, so I didn't want to do anything heavier. And knowing that I was going to use wool, because it will be worn by someone that does a lot of biking and a lot of hiking, I wanted them to still get the warmth from the wool, but I didn't want to use like a worsted or Aran weight, because I just thought that all of that all around your hood and everything might be a little too overwhelming. So it's meant to be made all in one color if you want to. That's how the pattern was written, at least. But as I mentioned, there's a water element here, so I'm kind of winging that pattern completely. I'm following the hood pattern exactly, and then I'm just changing the colors as much as I feel like I want to. So what I have going on here is I used Drops Charisma. This is 100% superwash wool. And I used 5 colors. These are the 5 colors that I'll be using. I'll let you know the numbers on them in case you wanted to use them for anything. So this is color 17. This is just like a traditional navy blue. This is color 7. 30. 68. And this is a very, very light gray. This is color 72. Now on the website they do have color names, but on the ball they just have the number. This is a 50-gram ball. So about 109 yards. Because I'm not following exactly to pattern and I'm doing there's something different, I will explain to you what I'm doing. So I'm going to do duplicate stitch and I'm going to put waves on here. So I'm going to do 4 different colors, so darkest to lightest. And then I'm going to go back in, and so since you could see these 2 colors right here, I'll use this color and duplicate stitch up here a wave. And I will do that on every stripe of color. And I don't know, I just think it's going to look really nice. I know I could have just followed a chart and done the wave as I was knitting, but I just wanted to get the hood made and then go back and do the duplicate stitch because I also needed to do one in a duplicate stitch to see how I wanted to lay them out. So I'm glad I did that because I did actually duplicate stitch earlier just to test it out, and it ended up looking really busy. So I'm going to, instead of doing a repeat every so many stitches, I'm going to do a repeat every other amount of stitches. So instead of 1 every 9 stitches, I'll do it every 18 stitches. So if I start here with 1, when I get to do the wave pattern down here, I won't do it here, I'll do it in between the 2 that are up here. That's what I'm thinking about, at least with that. And then the main portion of the hood is going to have those 4 blue colors. And then I'm going to use this gray to do most of the neck ribbing and do the encasement. So the front of the hood will have an encasement where you can put the I-cord. So each ball that I end up going through, I have about this much left. I would say it's a third of the ball or less, maybe. But I'll have to do at least like 6 or 7 waves with this in duplicate stitch. And all I'm hoping for is I'll have enough left to do 1 or 2 rows in the neckband to where I can do another color repeat. So it'll be mostly, like, let's say 8 rows of this and then 1 or 2 rows of this, 8 more rows of this, and 1 or 2 rows of the next blue shade, just to correlate everything all together without being too much, you know. And then this will be like the face framing color, and you'll have all the color work in the back. So that's my plan with the Hoodola. I will keep you posted with how that goes. And I have to also say, I've not worked with this wool before, and I really, really, really like it a lot. And their shipping, the tariffs, and the taxes, it was still cheaper for me to get this yarn, and I had to get these needles, which are interchangeable, so I had to get the needles and the cord. I got 2 sizes of cording. It was still cheaper for me to order it from Denmark, and faster, mind you, than it would be for anywhere that I had looked in the US. So I just find that to be a bit interesting. But it's funny because I am not familiar with working with wool just yet. I've only done it a couple of times, and This is not buttery soft like the hand-dyed superwool that I've used before, which I think is the most common superwash one. It's very woolly feeling, but it doesn't irritate me, which I know is the point of it being superwash treated. But yeah, it's like, I would not say it was soft, but it's nice and squishy, and it doesn't bother my skin at all. It actually kind of feels nice. Like, I could see why someone would want a hat or a scarf out of it. The Drops Charisma, I can't speak for any other ones, but it does have a halo on it as well, which doesn't bother me at all. But anyways, some sewing here to show you. I have, in my adult life, never had my own stocking. I'm not really a holiday person of any holiday. I don't really celebrate any of them anymore. Haven't for a long time. I don't mind putting out stuff. I usually just keep it to like the season. So I really love to do winter. I love snowflakes. I really love snowflakes. And I love gingerbread stuff. But typically I just usually stick with snowflakes. I do put a tree up. It's a small, like 4-foot tree. But I did not use traditional colors. And I like string lights. I have salt lamps and string lights all up through my house. So to me, having the tree up is less about the holiday, and it's more so just like a comforting thing. All that being said, I wanted to make William and I a stocking this year. I just thought it would be nice as a family to do for each other, and why not make some good memories with it. I would not normally choose the fabric that I have, but I'm just working from scraps, and someone kindly gifted me some fabric last year, and I hadn't figured out in what way to use it, and then I decided it'd be pretty perfect for stockings. So I'm quilting a stocking, and then I've done some applique on it, and I asked William what he wanted on his, because I could have done anything. And he said he'd like Santa Claus on his. And so, although I never in my life would ever do that, because like I said, I enjoy more like snowflakes and gingerbread men, snowmen. I like snowmen a lot. And it's funny because Frosty the Snowman is his favorite thing for Christmas, so I'm surprised he didn't ask me to do that, but he wanted Santa Claus, so he'll get Santa Claus because I love him. So, the only thing I have left to do for Santa Claus is add his glasses. So this is the stocking. I've lightly quilted it, as you can see, and then I did embroider his name up here. And then this is Santa Claus. So this is with felt, and because I do have to sew this all together, I will just pin back his gloves, but everything else is completely sewn down. The only thing I have left to add to it is glasses, because William requested that. So this is his stocking. I will show you mine when I get more done. I have Mrs. Claus cut out. I'll be using the same peppermint fabric, but I don't have her all laid out on the fabric yet, so when I get to that, I will definitely show you. But I think this will be just a nice little thing for our little family, and we are looking into getting a dog soon, so I will make our dog one too whenever we get him or her. The next piece of sewing that I have is another piece that started with a felt project that I was going to turn into an ornament much like that right there. And so I had finished it. I was sitting on it for a couple of days trying to think of what to do, and then I ended up just doing patchwork all around it until I got to a shape to make a zippered pouch. So the middle section here, that is all felt, and I stitched it and appliqued it all together, and then I did the patchwork sewing, and then I added the borders here to get a shape where I can eventually turn this into a zippered pouch, so I'll be doing that. And then the last thing I'll show you for today is a crochet project. This is an infinite hat. It is a pattern that I published It is available on Ravelry if you're interested. This is a crochet pattern, and I designed this because I wanted something that mimics a knit ribbed hat and also has the shaping that you get with a knit hat. I wanted it to be easy though, and so with this construction, if these hats are so quick to make, they're really easy to do. And the reason it's called an infinite hat is because I've made several in a solid color or one color, whether the yarn is variegated or not. Looks very nice. This is 2 colors. You can do, I think I did the math, you can do up to like 36 colors or something like that. So really, your options are endless, and I would just love if anyone makes that pattern to please tag me anywhere that you can, or post the project on Ravelry and let me know, because I just think that this hat would just look so cool in all the different color combinations, and you know, I won't always think of the same combinations that somebody else might. I have to add a modification in the pattern. I have not yet done it, but I did make a modification if you want to, where you could wear a lower bun and you could put your bun through the hat. Because the way that my hair is, where I would wear a low bun, my hat still, even wearing it as a skull cap, my hat still is right where my bun is, and it just doesn't feel natural to put my bun any lower, and my hair's not quite long enough yet. It looks weird. So I just made an adjustment to where you could do a little bit of not working your stitches to have a little space there for your bun. But yeah, so this is the yarn. It would have looked great just solid with this color. I really like this color, but I had these two. Again, I'm trying to work through my stash. I thought they complemented each other really well, so I think it'll still be really pretty. So that is the last project I have to show you. I hope everybody is doing really, really well. I wish you all the best, and definitely comment below. Tell me what you're working on right now and how you're doing, and I will see you in the next video.